Hello there. I'm making a roguelike deck builder about playing tic-tac-toe matches where the goal of the game is to build crazy scores using unique combinations of tic-tac-toe tiles and rings. It's called Nodosis. And for the past 6 months, I've been building this idea in the Godot engine. But only until recently, I've had a sort of a crisis moment. I realized my game was bad. I made a video about a month ago discussing the 3 things I did wrong in designing Nodosis, and it basically boiled down to me making a game without a proper amount of planning and consideration. There's a lot that goes into designing a game, and I really underestimated how much thought and detail goes into something so simple as the player's experience. And also the code for the game was just straight up bad. So I sat there waiting, staring at my game, thinking of all the things that I could do to fix it. And I came up with a couple of ideas. Number 1, I could rewrite the essential code for the game so that it'll run better. Number 2, I could completely scrap and redesign the user interface from the ground up. That's the buttons, settings screen, main menu, and so on. And lastly, number 3, I could add more synergies and cool stuff to the game to make it more interesting. So now that I have a pretty solid framework to use, I can now finally fix my game. Is it done? So there's just one problem. The game runs extremely slow in the editor. I think this is because of all the tabs I had open inside it, but I didn't quite realize that in the moment, so I just got frustrated. Imagine moving a single on-screen button to the left by 1 pixel, and realizing that you don't like how it looks. So you revert the change, the button goes back to where it was, but now you have to wait for 4 whole minutes for the editor to properly update the change. Like I said, this is painful, but it's my own fault. I had too many tabs open in the editor, but I was fed up. I wanted to be done with this stupid game. But you see, Nodosis is not necessarily a stupid game. It's actually kind of a good idea. It just needs to be built better. So, I spent some time prototyping other ideas for games. I had this game idea where you're a copper robot that spends all their time digging to the center of the earth. But you end up running out of fuel, so you spend all the resources you gathered upgrading yourself. Damage, more fuel, movement speed, so that you get progressively deeper and deeper into the world, finding new ores, environments, and secrets. It's a cool game, but this isn't what's on my Steam page, and I'm going to disappoint all 88 people who wishlisted Nodosis if I end up working on this instead. So back to Nodosis I went. So I didn't quite go back to working on Nodosis. Yeah, I know, but look, this game is about hatching eggs. Trust me, this game is probably cool. Then the new month arrived. I had spent all of September doing absolutely nothing for my game. It's still in the same state that it was in last August. So I finally got up the courage to ask all of the many people that are in the Nodosis' Discord server a question. So I would like to ask, should I just be done with Nodosis and release the game on Steam in the current state that it's in, and begin work on a new project? Or should I remake Nodosis from the ground up, starting from a new project, designing the game with the same assets but better code? And the answer, by resounding 2 people, was a yes, I think. Probably rebuild. Whatever the case may be, whatever choice you end up with, I wish you luck all the same. I was the one who gave the thumbs up, so that doesn't count. And to be honest, I was thinking of rebuilding Nodosis anyways. So, now, to work. I immediately started on a new project, with no assets, no code, nothing but potential. And for my first goal, I wanted to remake Nodosis, but in code. Previously, I had made the art and the programming for the game at the same time. But I believe that approach might have been an inefficient mistake. So what I did is I theory crafted. I thought up of all the things that Nodosis could possibly need, and then I programmed them in. I didn't care nor stop to think if what I was adding could actually work, because all I wanted to do for this initial phase was to figure out what's important to focus on and what isn't. I don't know if this technique has any kind of a name, but theory crafting the code base of a game before it even makes sense is super useful for building strong systems and linking code, which saves a lot of time. In about a week, I managed to get the entire combos detection system for the tic-tac-toe board working. Essentially what this means is that the engine that I wrote will check this 4x4 grid for any pre-made combinations. And if it finds any that make a match, it will write down the required information into 3 separate empty notebooks. Yes, I'm simplifying things. Programming doesn't actually involve notebooks. But anyways, the info that is now written in the notebooks can now be opened up and read by anything at any time. This means that the new combo system is not only much faster than in the original, but it's also more flexible and interactive. I also theory crafted the design of the tiles in the rings too. In the previous game, each tile and ring performed their own functions and abilities, with a series of unique if statements. Or in other words, each tile and ring was unique, and neither were able to communicate elements of their effects. So if I wanted to make a new ring to the game, I would have to manually go into the code and write new effects for the rings, as opposed to just switching on and off certain effects. So for the new Nodosis, I want the tiles and rings to be able to store certain tags, as I call them. So if a ring has a give plus 10x score tag, which for this example is colored green, then whenever the ring triggers, the game checks what kind of tags the ring has, and executes them. So since this ring has a green colored tag on it, it gives a plus 10x score. And I can do this for all different kinds of things. I can reduce the effectiveness of a tag by plus 5 as opposed to plus 10, or I can upgrade it. I can even swap one tag out for another, or replace a tag with one from another ring. The system is flexible. And finally, for the new Nodosis, I'm designing the user interface and quality of life to be better. Right from the very start of designing the visuals for the game, I made it my primary focus to be very considerate of where the buttons and labels are, and how they feel to read and push. Essentially, for what I want is my game to always feel polished. Now finally, all in 1 month, I managed to recreate the tic-tac-toe board, with functioning rings and tiles too. And keep in mind, all of this took me roughly 3 months for me to previously make. 1 month compared to 3 months, that's a shocking amount of speed. Although I do admit, very little of my time was spent drawing any of the art. I had just copied and pasted the art from the previous project into the new one, and I had the advantage of knowing what I had to do and what I wanted to do. Also, I wasn't sick, so in reality, I was probably closer to being only 2 times faster than 3 times, but that's still very quick. There is one potential problem, however. I'm not exactly a great sound designer, and in the previous game, the audio design was horrible in my opinion. I didn't discuss it anywhere because I don't know what I'm doing wrong with my audio design, and because of this, I'm afraid it's going to be a while before I attempt to add any kind of audio to the new game. No music, no sound effects, sorry. But there you have it. I made a large chunk of my game in just 1 month, with better code and design too. And now all I have to do is remake the rest of the game. So stay tuned for the next episode, which may or may not involve headache-inducing UI crafting. Will I succeed, or will I fail again? I don't know. Tell me down in the comments if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And as always, like and subscribe if you'd like to stick around for more. I post about once a month. Okay, see ya!